everyone, this is Venom, and we're here with another Destiny 2 build video for today. Today we've got our Titan, and we are back with a second Severance Enclosure build. Now, for those who don't remember, I did a Severance Enclosure build with the Void subclass. I am going to be doing one with a Solar subclass today. I'm enjoying this one just as much, if not more, than I did the Void subclass. I'm going to go ahead and get right into it and explain the trick to this build again, and then show you the actual build. Now, the Severance Enclosure says, powered melee final blows unleash a damaging explosion. Finishers and final blows against more powerful targets increase the radius and damage of the explosion. So the way the exotic is supposed to work is that your powered melee final blows and finishers will basically cause a nice big explosion around you, and the stronger enemy that you kill with that, the bigger and more damaging the explosion. However, there is a trick. With the three light subclasses, Solar, Arc, and Void, there are ways where you can kind of make the game think that your regular melees are in fact powered melees, and that's what we're going to be taking advantage of today. So instead of just our powered melee, our hammer in this case, being the thing that causes a ton of explosions, we're actually going to have our regular melee attack causing explosions like crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly how that one works. Now for each light subclass, there is a different way to kind of trick your melee into thinking it is being empowered. For the Arc subclass, triggering Knockout is actually what's going to cause your melee to get empowered. And then for the Solar subclass, which I'll be showing you today, triggering Roaring Flames is what actually causes your melee to become empowered. Now, this build is going to be rated for low to mid-tier content. It's going to be great for any content where there's just tons and tons of enemies. You take this to a raid, you're going to have a really good time. I actually did this. I took this into a raid right before Dragon's Dogma 2 came out. I took it into raid, and I was just clearing everything. It was really, really fun. Ad clearing is very fun with this one. You're just hoping for swarms of ads to come at you. It's really fun to use. Alright, now the Severance Enclosure, of course, will trigger off of a powered melee kill, but will also trigger if we activate Roaring Flames. To activate Roaring Flames, it says you have to either get a final blow with a solar ability or ignitions, okay? So we're going to be able to trigger this by either getting an ignition, or what we're going to do is get a grenade kill or a powered melee kill. So let me go ahead and demonstrate that real quick. Now first I'll demonstrate the powered melee kill. That's going to be the hammer in this case. You see I get the hammer kill there, it causes a nice explosion around. And of course, with the Titan, you can pick your hammer back up and continuously reuse it. So you do it again. Boom, we can continuously do this. And you can see, since we got that melee kill, we have Roaring Flames currently active. So we'll go ahead and punch enemies there. Boom, they are all exploding around. And we can also activate Roaring Flames with a grenade kill. So you can see right here, I tossed out a grenade. Boom, we've activated Roaring Flames. And punches cause everything to explode again. So as you can see, getting a grenade kill or a powered melee kill would activate Roaring Flames. Roaring Flames charges up your regular melee, even though it's not necessarily supposed to, but will let you clear out rooms of enemies with a single regular punch. So, let's go ahead and get into the build, and then we will get into our Lost Sector footage like we usually do, and I'll show you exactly what this build is capable of. Now we've already gone over the first aspect, the Roaring Flames. The second aspect is going to be the Soul Invictus, and it says Solar ability final blows, Hammer of Soul impacts, and defeated scorched targets create sunspots. Your abilities to generate faster, and your super drains more slowly while standing in a sunspot. Sunspots apply Scorch and deal damage to targets inside. Entering a sunspot applies Restoration. So not only are you going to be able to get a ton of enemies cleared out, you're going to be dropping sunspots left and right with your powered melee, and it's going to be healing you, it's going to be doing more damage to enemies. It's going to be very crazy having a Titan with this build in a room full of enemies. You might want to watch out for your frame rate, because it might go a little crazy. Alright, for grenade, you can use whatever grenade you want. I would suggest using the Solar Grenade. It's a pretty good AoE grenade. I would suggest using that one. You can use some others. Some good ones to use would be the Fusion Grenade. Or if you don't want that, you can use a Healing Grenade, but understand that you're not going to be able to get Roaring Flames activated off your Healing Grenade. So keep that in mind. I recommend using a Damaging Grenade, but you can switch that out for Healing Grenade if you're confident in getting Roaring Flames activated with your melee ability or with your weapons. Now for the melee, very important, you want to use your Throwing Hammer. Your Throwing Hammer is definitely probably the best melee in the game. It does a lot, it's reusable, you definitely want to use this one. I do not recommend using Hammer Strike. For your jump, use whichever jump you want to, and for your barricade, use whichever barricade you want to. Now for the fragments, really you can put whatever you want on here too. It's going to really depend on your playstyle. I kind of put on some fragments that would kind of help me with my weapons and getting Scorch and Ignitions going a bit more. But this is more of a jack-of-all-trades build when it comes to the fragments. The build I've got really just revolves around me using that melee a lot, and my weapons just kind of help with that. But you'll see the fragments I have on there. You can totally customize this one how you want to. This is just what I have on. So currently I've got on the Ember of Torches. It says powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. This will easily make you and your allies radiant because you're going to be getting those powered melee attacks quite a bit, especially with the Throwing Hammer. Next up, we've got Ember of Eruption. It says your solar ignitions have increased area of effect, so if you have any weapons that cause ignitions, this is going to be great for it. Like I said, most of my fragments are going to be helping my weapons. And then the last two fragments are on here are going to be a wombo combo for my weapons. First, I've got on the Ember of Tempering. It says solar weapon final blows grant you and your allies increased recovery for a short duration, stacks 3 times. While Ember of Tempering is active, your weapons have increased airborne effectiveness, and your solar weapon final blows create a fire sprite. We mainly have it on there for that second effect for our weapons. Our solar weapons will be creating fire sprites. Why is that important? Well, for the Ember of Mercy. It says, when you revive an ally, you and other nearby allies grant restoration. Picking up a fire sprite grants restoration. So, using the Ember of Tempering and the Ember of Mercy, combined with the Ember of Eruption, we basically increase the effectiveness of our solar weapons. We will not only have more increased ignitions, but we will have a lot more ways to get restoration on us. Now, as far as weapons go, use whatever weapons have incandescent. You can pretty much use whatever you want to. I highly recommend the Callus Mini Tool. It is a very, very great SMG. It has incandescent on it. I am also using my Throne Cleaver. It is the Titan Sword. It's got Tireless Blade and incandescent on it as well. But really, you can use whatever weapons you want to. Just try to have one that has incandescent on it if you're putting on fragments that revolve around your weapon. If you're not, then don't try to use weapon fragments that revolve around ignitions because it's not going to do anything for you. As far as your stats go, for Titans, you're going to want to have 100 resilience. After that, I went ahead and upped my discipline because we're going to be able to get our melee back so quickly. You really don't got to build into that too much. Now, I did go ahead and put a few points into it. I got mine up to 56, but your order of stats are going to be your resilience, your grenade, and then after that, whatever you want, I would recommend your strength just to kind of help you get your hammer back in case you miss. I also like to put points into mobility because I like to see people squirm when they look at my Titan stats. Alright, for our mods, first up, we've got the helmet mods. We're going to have a copy of Heavy Ammo Finder and a copy of Heavy Ammo Scout on. If you're playing by yourself, go ahead and toss on 2 copies of Heavy Ammo Finder. If you're in a group, toss on a copy of Heavy Ammo Finder and a copy of Heavy Ammo Scout. To make Orbs of Power, we've got on a copy of Harmonic Siphon. You can go ahead and put on whatever Siphon mod for whatever type of weapon you're going to be using. But since we're going to be using solar weapons, I went ahead and tossed on a copy of Harmonic Siphon to help us generate those Orbs of Power. Next up for arms, since we're going to be doing basically everything melee based, I went ahead and went with a copy of Heavy Handed. Now you could go Heavy Handed as well as Firepower. I decided to lean completely into the melee portion of it, so I've gone on a copy of Heavy Handed, which will generate Orbs of Power on powered melee kills. I've got a copy of Impact Induction on, which says causing damage with a powered melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown, and a copy of Focusing Strike, which says grant class ability energy when you cause damage with a powered melee attack. Even if it wasn't for the fact that Severance Enclosure is so good, the fact that you can reuse your hammer over and over again with a Titan makes all these mods very, very powerful. So you're probably going to want to use these over any of your grenade focus mods on your arms. Next up for the chest piece, I'm using a sword, so I got a couple of copies of Loosened Blade on, but it's going to be dependent on what activities you are doing. Go ahead and toss on whatever reserves mod or whatever defense mod you want to, but this is going to completely change depending on what it is you're doing. So pay attention to what it is that you're going up against, put on the appropriate defense mods. If you just want kind of a jack of all trades build, go ahead and toss on some up close mods since you're going to be doing melee damage. I'd say Concussive Dampener and Melee Resist are going to be the 2 main ones you want. Or if you want to go ahead and toss on Sniper Resistance so you can survive, so you can actually get up to enemies quicker, go ahead and toss those on. But past that, for lower to mid-tier content, you're really not going to need them too much. You're going to be healing a lot with this, or healing a lot with this one. So, like I said, I got on the blades and I got on these, so the reserves for the extra ammo. Alright, so for my leg mods, I went ahead and went with the double copies of Solar Weapon Surge. This is going to really power up my Callus Mini Tool. It's going to power up whatever solar weapons you got. Now, I went ahead and tossed on a copy of Recuperation. I try to always have a copy of that on, so in case I'm in an emergency, I pick up an overpower and I get a nice chunk of health back. But I went ahead and leaned completely into the Solar Weapon Surges on this one, so that you can get that additional damage with your Callus Mini Tool. In case I run out of grenade energy and I run out of melee energy, I'd have no way to activate my Roaring Flames, I've still got my weapon I can use to activate as well by getting my incandescent going. So I went ahead and powered up my weapons just in case I've got to rely on those to get my melee going as well. And then finally, for our class item, I went ahead and went with some finisher-based mods. Since this does also proc out of finishers, I got on a copy of Proximity Ward to give us a shield if we are using a finisher. I went ahead and put on a copy of Empowered Finish. It says, Finisher Final Blows grant you 1 temporary armor charge when you have none. It's just one more mod to kind of help when you're using finishers, and this does help you get charged up if you don't have any orbs of power. And then I went ahead and added on a copy of Time Dilation, which will just increase how long your armor charge lasts to increase how long your Solar Weapon Surge lasts. Now, that is the build. I'm going to go ahead and hop onto a Lost Sector on Europa and show you just how quickly I can clear the Lost Sector. I can probably clear it without having to speed up the footage again like I did last time. I'm going to go into that one to see just how... I'm going to try to kill the entire thing doing nothing but melee punches. Now I'm going to do like one powered melee. The rest I'm going to just try to do regular punches. We'll see if I can make it work. And there you go. The entire last sector done, almost completely by melees. I had to use my machine gun against the Harpy, or the Hydra a little bit. Past that, the entire thing cleared out with almost nothing but punches. So, really fun. You saw just how much damage it was doing, just how wide those explosions were. And that was just using your melee's attack. So, like I said, very, very fun to play. Let me go ahead and toss, or show you guys today's fashion. It is nothing but Valkyrie 0 for the shoulder today. I went pretty simple. And then all Epilios following, or Apalios, I don't know how to say it right. Apelios following everything except for the class item. It's the Biosphere Explorer Mark. That is the ritual armor piece for the Titan. Everything else is all stuff from Season 100, I believe. It's probably one of the best armor sets that ever came out that you could actually just earn in game. And like I said, it looks really good with the Valkyrie 0. Very simple today, but very, very cool looking. So that's going to do for today, guys. Like I said, this is definitely one of my favorite Titan builds ever, just because, I mean, I just love punching stuff and it all just exploding. Entire rooms just getting destroyed, and it is very... I can't really stress how fun this build is to use on raids. Especially because enemies tend to swarm you, and they get very close to you very quickly, so I cannot stress just how fun this one is. You could very easily make up any DPS by using really good weapons. Most of the time you're going to be very good using this build. It's got healing, it's got damage, it's got AoE clear, it's got a little bit of everything. It doesn't quite have the survivability to do in-game, but you probably could go ahead and make an in-game build for this. You probably could take it through Grandmasters. It's not going to be nearly as effective as it's going to be through the low to mid-tier stuff, but you can get it through Grandmasters if you want to, although I'm not going to rate it or give it a Grandmaster rating. I'm still going to only rate it low to mid-tier, so... That's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you all for coming by. Let me know if you have any builds you want to see down below. I've got some very specific hunter builds coming up next, so thinking about doing the Foe Tracer, or maybe the one for Strand here next. We'll see, but the hunter is going to be up next. Let me know if you want to see any builds down below. Thank you all for coming by, and I will see you on the next video.